sleep.
Whoa.
This motherfucking monster.
Man, you went and he killed a dog? Like, literally,
Why
I know
did
that's
you
like so
kill a
fucked
dog?
up. But it's just like, that's what cleared him? Being a dog catcher?
That's what cleared him.
That's like, ugh. It's like one of those things where it's like that Russian version of heroin. What's it called?
Crocodile.
Yeah, it's crocodile. Where it's just like, oh, it's like heroin, but it like makes it, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, but it's like heroin, but it eats your flesh.
Yeah, it's like crocodile makes you a human skeleton, but heroin makes you Jimi Hendrix.
That's right. Think
All right?
about it. Lighting guitars on fire.
You're being a dickhead.
And also during this time, this is the time when he built his tree house.
Well,
Yeah, the
okay, so what was this
treehouse?
treehouse about?
He built a treehouse in the backyard, and neighbors said that he would very often go back into the treehouse, and they would see him looking through what seemed to be a scrapbook. He had a chest that he
Oh,
would
like
just,
listening to like the Boys of Summer again.
Either that or sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was looking through all of his mementos, all of his photos, because he would take driver's licenses, he would take jewelry from all of his victims.
He's a real Bart Simpson.
I'm saying, I keep all my flyers, and I have a
Yeah.
whole closet
Yeah,
full
me
of props,
too.
so
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, I suppose so. So after 1991, he got his thrill by pretty much killing a bunch of dogs. He never murdered another person.
Did not murder that. Not that he ever confessed to, or that we know.
So what's
of.
he doing during
I
this
think
time?
he would have
'Cause he's
confessed to it. He would
Yeah,
have
of
confessed
course
to it.
he
if
would
he
have.
would have.
He's
He's an
an
attention whore.
So that's exactly what he is.
But
He's
the
the
funny
Kim
thing is-
Kardashian of serial killers.
The last two victims he never bragged about.
Okay, so what was going on with the
Yeah.
media? I want to get into the media here. So while he was doing this from 85 to 91, he was sending a bunch of different messages to the media.
He was sending letters, poems. He was sending these. He
was connecting the dots from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s for
Exactly.
the media, right?
Exactly. And he was also sending them cereal boxes with prizes inside.
I hate this fucking...
I know,
What a
yeah.
fucking
He would-
crafty.
He would make dolls reenacting the crimes.
Okay.
And he would put jewelry in there. He had a couple of driver's licenses from women that he had killed.
Now, going back, we were talking about Cake, K-A-K-E, the news station. Was that the channel that he mostly communicated with?
That was the only one he communicated with, that and with one of the newspapers.
And is there any? Have the reporters discussed getting these messages? I mean,
Yes, there's one reporter that it was kind of the main guy who was covering all of these stories
Right.
at the time. He's very relaxed about it. But
What do you mean?
He's just like,
No, definitely. It was the story of my career, and I got to tell you,
Yeah.
if I could do it all over again, I'd do it all over again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dennis Rader. This has been K-A-K-E. Kate, get yourself a slice of the news.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They had a promo like that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's a guy cutting cake, and he's like, oh, the Hindenburg. Oh, JFK assassination. Another slice of the cake.
Hot Dog Squad. All right. So what was the reporter's response? I mean, how many letters was he giving? Was it monthly or yearly? or
Yearly. I
weekly?
mean, it was fairly sporadic. Like, it wasn't like, let me see here.
I feel like, Dennis was probably very upset, and this is why he had to write all these letters. No one was putting together the dots that it's the same person, and I think he was desperate.
But that's his fault.
Right, exactly, because he failed. He was too different. With every kill every kill is an individual art piece with him.
The other thing is what was his family life like?
Completely fucking normal. Like, he was married for 30 years to the same woman.
Right.
No idea. After he was caught, she
The
just
weirdest
filed
thing
for
about-
immediate divorce. She had no idea any of it was going on. Their kids had no idea any of it was going on. They had the house demolished that they lived in.
I'm
Just
sure the
completely
only
Can
demolished.
you imagine being one of his children?
Well, this explains-
I tried finding more information about it. I found a little bit about his wife, but nothing about his children.
Yeah, I think
I-
you change your last name at that point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I also think that they could be titans of the like sort of like of industry. Mm-hmm. They could be really good because they talk about how like executives kind of have the same sort of psychopathic
Tendencies of serial killers,
that
yeah.
serial
Yeah.
killers have. The idea of like being a sociopath really helps you in business.
It does, and politics.
Yeah.
So he had the family life. Everything was going normal. He had the letters written to the media. So where does he mess up? It's 1991 now. He's finished with the kills. He's got his, he's satisfied with his little dog catching career.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's still spending about 2-3 hours in the bathroom every
Yeah,
night.
it's like being an English teacher after spending years of trying to be a writer.
Right, exactly. He should have just gone. He should have gone and taught a class about serial killers because he's not good enough to be one. So
Well, here's how we fucked up.
okay,
From 91 to 2004, nothing.
okay.
Like there's like nothing from him. Nobody hears anything from the BTK killer. But in 2004,
He's going through that Mickey Rourke 1988 to 2000.
Yeah, when he was a professional boxer for like 6 months. Yeah.
Exactly.
and so this lawyer is releasing a book about the BTK killer.
Okay.
And
And that's probably also because I also know that amazing Australian BTK documentary, which is also online. I should post that as well.
Yeah.
That also came out. Both being like, and has he? Yes, he's disappeared into the shadows, but when will he emerge?
I also want to point out to our audience, Henry was an elderly man today for his video shoot,
Oh,
and he is
he-
currently peeling skin off of his face.
it's pretty weird. It's really weird.
It's helping me discuss this. I tried to wash myself yesterday before doing our show,
God.
and I scrubbed my face, and I forgot to look in the mirror. Oh, I wish you could see this.
I'm going to take a picture of it, Henry, so then they can see it.
Oh, you can't actually see it.
Yeah, you can see that. That is
But
absolutely disgusting.
I was on the train. I didn't realize. I looked in the window of the train. And I had this fucking white triangle of liquid latex, like right over under my eyelid. And I was just like, oh, I didn't even think about it. And I just started ripping it off my face. And because it pulls, it like stretches.
Yeah.
And I look and I see this woman. It's just going like, oh my God. And I was just like, it's makeup. It's makeup.
Terrified. All right, so 91 to 2004.
Yeah. And a book, there's a story in the Wichita Eagle about this lawyer who's about to release this book about the BTK killer and all that. And then for some reason, fucking Rader cannot stand it. And so he sends a letter.
He's like fucking Harry Knowles.
He's awful. He sends a letter to the Wichita Eagle with a return address using the name Bill Thomas Killman.
I fucking hate
that.
BTK.
I hate that. That's so stupid.
What is wrong with him?
I don't
It's
know.
like he writes for Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23.
Yeah, canceled.
Can we get a flush noise in there?
That's not a flush noise.
But when he sent the letter, he enclosed photographs of the crime scene and a photocopy and a driver's license from Vicky Wegerly, the 1986 murder, the woman that he strangled on his lunch break.
The actual driver's license, not a photocopy of it?
Yes, a photocopy. of
Okay,
it.
I was going to say, I don't think he's going to give away his goods.
Yeah. And so for the next, until about, this is in March of 2004, and until, let's see here, February 2005, he just keeps sending him shit. Like,
Okay.
just weird shit. This is what
Are
he
they
does. This is when he does, like, the cereal boxes, all that type of shit. Like, it's just him kind
Oh,
of
this
being.
is when he's jumped the shark.
Yeah, this is.
now,
He's absolutely jumped the shark on this.
So what is, I feel like the motivation in the back of his mind, granted, he wants notoriety, he wants fame. I think he also wants to be caught.
Actually, that's
I mean,
the thing.
how
Is that I
much do
feel
you-
like in the end, it's like he got exactly what he wanted. It's like he got caught. Like if he had wanted,
here's how we got.
He never should have been caught.
Here's how he got caught. No, he never should have been got caught. Here's how he got caught. He asked in letters to police. He asked if his writings, if put on a floppy disk, if they could be traced. The police said no.
Oh my God.
And
Well, the sausage gang doesn't lie. The hot dog boys always tell me the truth.
the hot dog squad always shoot straight.
absolutely,
God.
you can trust me. I'm Detective Popcorn.
I love
You
Detective
just
Popcorn.
come and you just-
Dearest
you just
Detective
send me
Popcorn.
all your flip floppies. Oh, I'll put some ranch flavor in them.
Ooh, I love ranch.
Flavor crystal. Yeah, getting all up on your thumbs.
I like him.
Yeah, I like him too.
Nice guy.
All right,
I should have been a popcorn guy.
I just got lost in the world of Detective Popcorn.
I want to see an Adult
wanna
Swim
be-
show
I
called
wanna-
Detective Popcorn. I want to see how he solves crimes, usually with buttery flavor.
Why is he always sleepy?
Because I feel like he's like in bed.
I mean, he's lard. I mean, how does fat talk? All right. So,
And so he sent a floppy disk with his writing because apparently, I guess he was tired of typing out on a typewriter. and
Whatever.
later
He gave
photocopies.
himself up.
Yeah, and so
he did.
he sent them a floppy disk, and the forensic analysis immediately found that it was used by the Christ Lutheran Church. And
Man,
internet-
I would have never stopped laughing.
and there was a reference to the name Dennis. An internet search determined that a Dennis Rader was president of the church council. They arrested his ass. And of course, since he had spooged all over a little girl back in 1974, they had his DNA on file.
right.
So this man was, he was arrested and caught dead to rights.
He wanted it.
Yeah.
And so we gave him exactly what he wanted. Because in the end, what he wanted is he wanted everyone to know his name. He wanted to know that
Oh, hold
he
on.
was.
Keep that right there.
He wanted to know that everyone to know that Dennis Rader did it and that he did it. We're taking another picture of me pulling my skin.
I love it. It's amazing.
But yeah, that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted everyone to
did.
pat himself in the back, and so he would know.
He did, and
this is how they caught him. It's like, this is actually pretty. They didn't actually lie to him. That what they did is they searched the metadata on the disk. He had erased the disk from a previous use, which someone had used a Microsoft Word document for the floppy disk.
Okay.
and
Bill
it contained,
Gates is the ultimate detective.
and it contained the word Christ Lutheran Church, and the document was marked last modified by Dennis.
You have got to use a new disc.
Yeah,
Write it on a piece of paper.
Write it
Being
on
a
piece-
lazy piece of shit.
Right. Use the hot dog bun that you've used for the past 20 fucking
No,
years. and haven't
no.
been
He
caught.
wanted it. He's so happy. He was so happy when he got caught. I hate that when they're happy.
No,
Yeah,
they
me
shouldn't
too.
be happy. All
You
right.
shouldn't be happy. There's no reason for you to be happy.
You know, I feel like it's
and
sort
then
of
he
an-
gave an extensive interview, and then he has been all over the place. He, smiles for all the cameras. All these people clamoring to talk to him. He got exactly what he wanted.
What were some of the things
media
that he talked
feeds
about?
into it,
What
as
were-
always.
What were some of the things that he talked about during these extensive interviews?
I know
He goes into complete dispassionate detail of all of his crimes. He loves talking about it. He huffs and puffs like it's a pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
it's not. He loves
Yeah,
it.
when he's talking about Maureen Hedge, the woman that he, fucked in the church, he's like, I moved her to the trunk of my car,
He's such a
and
boring dude.
like that's what he
It's like,
actually
you're in
did
court,
that.
bro. You don't have anywhere else to be today. So fucking either get some flamboyancy, learn how to tell a story, or just shut the fuck up and write it in a piece of paper.
He's like the only reason shows like Reba existed and shit fucking comedies. You imagine the things that he enjoyed to watch that really got him going funny.
Oh, we were we were talking about this the other. Yeah, his favorite show was probably Reba.
I'm sure it
yeah.
was.
Oh yeah, he's the worst
family
person on the face of the planet.
I
was talking about with someone earlier today. He was talking to a guy in advertising, and he asked him what his they were talking about movies. And he's like, "You want to know my favorite movie is The Hunger Games."
fuck off.
And it's just like, yeah, exactly. That's what serial killers do.
You
Like,
get
yeah, that's
outta
what
here.
people. Yeah, if you have no genuine feelings.
All right, so let's get a total death count. BTK, how many kills
My
did he
favorite
have?
Wizard of Oz things is Return to Oz.
Wrong.
Total confirmed kills 10.
Okay.
It's purported to be maybe a few more, maybe less. I don't know. He never confessed anymore, so I don't think he did anymore.
I think
because
that
I
he
don't
would have
think he did.
confessed.
He
he
would
would have confessed.
More importantly,
since-
how many dogs? Do they have a number on that?
only one confirmed.
Well, that's enough for me. Throw him away for life.
Yeah, and he was sentenced to life in prison because Wichita, as I said in the last episode, Wichita reinstated the death penalty in '94. The last known murder took place in 1991. So now he's just in prison, writing letters, writing poems about spring.
I heard he's also doing. He writes a lot of the questions for The View. I hear he's doing really well with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
he literally has Joy Behar's ear. Like every joke that she tells is straight from
He's
BTK.
funny.
I like him.
He's funny. But again, this is a guy's story that, in terms of for covering serial killers,
Right.
this is a very important story. You show he was for a long period of time the perfect serial killer.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it. He did it exactly in a way he was undetected.
Worked for a security company, Boy Scouts.
Exactly,
You
and
can't get.
yeah, he went to the Harvard University of what it takes to be a serial killer,
Right.
and he was a total prick, baby. If your fucking boss is like that, he's probably a serial killer.
That's
If he's
possible.
a,
There was-
Well, I know
if
that
he
when he
goes
was
to
working-
church and loves Reba,
When he-
he's
well,
a serial killer.
There's a woman that wrote a book called "My Boss Was the BTK Killer," and she said that one time he trapped her in her office. She said, He just kept moving towards me. I said, Dennis, open the door. Finally, he reached over, opened the door, and with a complete change of personality, he walked to his desk and sat down and acted like nothing happened.
Oh, no, that's just hindsight. That's you just putting it in there. And then you
Yeah.
just think every time he's advancing, you were too ugly for him. Or too big. Probably too big.
She's too big.
pretty.
She's a pretty big girl.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Is
He
that
never had
bad?
eyes for her.
Is it sad if you're too ugly for a serial killer to kill you?
No.
I don't know.
At the
Henry
same-
wasn't pretty enough to be molested by a priest.
Yeah, and
true.
it helped me, you know.
Yeah,
that
that's
helped.
It's the best of. You've been voting in all week, sending your emails. So here's the clips that you wanted. Carl Pilkington in the chair now. The talked about, the acclaimed Educating Ricky.
Right, well, just in case anyone's new, doesn't normally listen,
Yeah.
basically, I'm educating Ricky.
Yeah.
Do a bit of research in a week, find stuff, news, history, anything that's interesting. 3 stories, I give them a nice little headline. You take your pick.
Yeah.
Between now and 3, you're going to learn 3 things. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the headlines are, I'll be no buying one of them.
Give us that again.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. We've also got hippopotamus
Okay.
and can you believe it?
Can you believe it? Well,
Well,
I'm
that's
going
your
to go
choice,
for
mate.
hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus?
Hippopotamus.
Right, well this one, it's I'm not going to take the credit here. I heard Christian talking about this on breakfast, right, because it's a good story that happened. Basically, I don't know if I told you about it last week when we were having our spaghetti, but
I think you did.
Right,
I
is this-
know what it is. I know what this
Okay, I've not heard this.
right, there's a little midget. Right, there's a circus,
I'm loving it already.
circus going on somewhere. I think it was in America. And
Is that present day or old times?
I'm talking like in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right, little midget. circus, really packed out show. People are loving it.
Steve, you'll ask the same question I did, I know.
So there's a little midget jumping up and down on a trampoline.
What circus is this?
Right?
I'd pay good money to see it.
So everyone's clapping, and he's getting carried away.
Because he can't believe they're loving it. I didn't know they'd like a little person on a trampoline, but they love me.
But you know what it's like when if there's a crowd of people sort of encouraging you to sort of go higher and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he knew it was getting out of hand. But he was jumping and he was coming down the road going higher, and he's going really high in the air, right? So he's doing this. Crowd are clapping. There's a hippo, right, just sat next to the trampoline, getting ready to come on and do his act.
Oh, right, I thought he was in the audience.
That's it, getting ready to do his act, Steve.
Yeah.
So
he's a ventriloquist.
What do you mean he's sitting by the trampoline waiting to do his act?
Because
why does he sit in the dressing room and they go, 5 minutes, Mr. Mus, 5 minutes, Mr. Mus.
So anyway, right, so the hippo's there.
He's getting annoyed, is he? Because the midget's
He's
eating
going,
into
how
his
can I
time.
follow this? How
Yeah.
can I, this is really annoying. They're going to be, no.
So
He's thinking, he's already done the trampoline, my pogo stick out, he's never going to work.
Yeah, go on. So there's a hippo waiting. See, it's a great story, and I just know he embellishes it or it gets slightly wrong. Go on.
So
there's a midget jumping up and down, the hippo's getting annoyed. He
The
wants
crowd
to-
are going mad.
crowd
The
are going
midget's
mental.
loving it. Can't believe his luck. Although you think he probably.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
Hi, hello. Is it the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through man? Is there a drive-through man available? Hello?
Hello?
I was asking, can I get a change in the order? Can I get a mix of a tuna and chicken salad sandwich? Can you mix the salads?
We don't got tuna at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, you do. You see it on the menu before you. You put, I want a mixture of the two.
You know, Miss Grace, can you just stop
I
harassing
want a
us?
mixture of the two. If you do not give me a mixture of the two, the devil dances tonight.
Welcome to the last podcast. On the left, everyone, I am Ben Kissel with Marcus Parks wearing his Ween shirt.
I love Ween. This is one of 2 Ween shirts I own.
No kidding.
No, one of 3 Ween shirts, excuse me.
That's sad. Okay. And we got Henry Zabrowski in Los Angeles.
If I could just get my hands on Casey Anthony, in the squared circle, I'd get a 10 count. I know for a fact I'd pin her down. I'd push her face into the mat because I got the strength, upper torso strength. I got the legs of a toddler, but I got the hands of a man.
Hey, Nancy, I got to ask you, how much money do you think you made off of Casey Anthony?
Millions of dollars, and I spent every dollar of it.
Thank God. On sweatpants, most likely. We saw her at CrimeCon. Wonderful performer.
Great performer.
I'm wearing athleisure. I have to be free for movement.
She definitely was. Cowboy boots and sweatpants. Remember that look she had?
Absolutely remember
Brave.
that. And the, 6 security guys she had around her?
She was very safe.
Yes.
All right. Well, speaking of performers, we're on to Casey Anthony Part 2. We'll get to the trial. My God, it's madness.
It's sheer madness.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
There's honestly, you ever it's nice to have a reason to be mad? There's something that I like in my personal life. There's something really fun about pure righteous anger where
Right.
you know you're right and that the other person's wrong, so you could just fucking rail on them all day long in your mind.
Right.
But in real life, you're like, I brought you your jacket. You know. Casey Anthony's face. If you ever just want to get mad, watch the trial footage and watch Casey Anthony's reactions to everyone speaking to each other, and you will fucking throw your computer out the goddamn window into the street.
Yeah, I watched a couple of news clips. A lot of fashion conversations. Sometimes she wears a low-cut V when she's feeling relaxed, as opposed to her conservative fluffle shirt, which she also wore on occasion. Breaking news.
Now, when we last left Casey Anthony, the body of her 2.5-year-old daughter, Kaylee, had just been found in a wooded area less than half a mile from the Orlando home they shared with Casey's parents. Casey had already been charged with her daughter's murder before the body had been found, and yet it took another 3 years for the trial to begin.
Oh, it's so boring to do court cases. Trials are so fucking boring.
Well, they're important.
Yes, I guess. Is that what they say? Is that the whole
They're
thing?
important.
But it's just so boring. I watched 7 hours of trial footage.
Was she detained for those 3 years, or she was just chilling at home?
She was detained.
Okay.
Yeah. So there were 4 charges, the most serious of which being first-degree murder. Now, some say the prosecution bungled this case from the beginning.
Yeah, you think? You fucking think?
There was a bungle.
Trying to pin Casey with a capital murder charge. Should she be found guilty, Casey Anthony was going to get the needle. No questions asked. After a bunch of appeals.
You're going to get the needle. Huh? That's what you want? You want to get the needle? This is balloon prison. And there's nothing more dangerous to a balloon than getting the needle.
They should have charged her with a lowercase murder charge, I guess.
Good work, Kissel.
Oh, no, I get, yeah, not capital.
This is good. This is fun.
Right from the start, the prosecution gave themselves a case that would have to show jurors, without a doubt, that the evidence showed the murder was premeditated, that showed that Casey Anthony deserved the death penalty, which is no easy task.
No, is that what happens when it starts out? Honestly, I don't know. So when they say at the very top during the preliminary hearings, they say they're going to go for the death penalty, and that changes the rules for the jury, or it just changes the stakes level?
It changes the stakes because, if someone is charged with, say, like manslaughter, then they're not going to get the death penalty. But if someone
they get a fucking heavy metal rip. They get but it doesn't. But it's an easier trial.
Yeah, it's a much easier trial to prove because there's not as much weight. The jury does not feel like they have someone's life in their hands. So something with a first degree murder case, a capital murder case in a death penalty state, the people are going to take it a lot more seriously.
Right.
Now, of course, a plea deal was presented to Casey, as it almost always is in a capital murder trial. But when the possibility of a plea deal was brought up to Casey, she became extremely indignant, saying she would never in a million years admit to the murder of her daughter.
Wow.
So you want me to sign a plea deal? You being gay about this? No, I'm not signing a goddamn plea deal. Never in 1,000 years. Because I'll never admit to murdering my daughter. That's for certain.
Now, much has been made of the jurors on the Casey Anthony case, almost as much as those involved in the OJ trial. The panel was made up of 9 women and 8 men, ranging in age from 32 to 65.
Oh. And ranging from dolt to dullard.
There it is. Big demographics. If you could get a TV show, what was it, 32 to 65?
Yeah.
You would be the most successful show since Frasier.
No, that is Nancy Grace's demo.
Oh, that is her demo. That's a good point.
Since the case had been so widely reported for 3 years, especially in the Orlando area, the state took their jury pool from Clearwater, Florida, because that was a whole 2-hour drive away.
Wow.
A thing I'll say about Clearwater, Florida. Number 1 Scientology capital of the world.
Really?
We've known that. Strange place, beach community, a lot of snowbirds. Means the traffic gets really bad from December to April, because that's when all the idiots from up north show up and don't know how to fucking drive. All right, because they're all super aggressive. Florida, you're cruising. You're from fucking Massachusetts, you're up everybody's asshole 24/7. Because I know that for a fact, because that's how I drive. I'm a rail on them.
No, I know. I'm just checking this off in my head as like, what's another moment where Henry becomes his father? Well, here he is. He referred to people as snowbirds, and he's talking about traffic in Florida.
The thing was, though, even getting the jury pool from Clearwater wasn't enough to get an unbiased jury pool.
Really?
Because after 3 years, most people thought Casey Anthony was guilty. She was tried in the media for 3 entire years before her trial even started.
Yeah, I think the Newsies got to Clearwater, Florida, and spread the word about the trial, so...
Yes, the papes and the nickels were everywhere, and all of the newsboy caps were found in the trash cans for many years.
And that meant that the only people allowed on the jury had to be at least in the undecided category, if not leaning towards not guilty.
Which means you have to be touched in the brain to even show up. Where your thing be like, let's give her a second chance. Like, if you watched everything, and the first thought you'd be like, I'd like to hear what the lawyers say, because I trust lawyers.
I know that's the biggest flaw of jury selection, where it's like, do you know anything about anything? You don't? You're on. You're hired. It's the only job interview where it's like, are you a total moron, completely empty and shallow inside? You got the job.
Well, I mean, it is a good thing in most cases to have an unbiased jury come in.
Unless they're biased for you.
Yeah. But this case, with all the media attention, it was something different altogether. Now, not all the people selected were excited to be a part of the trial. One man, Jonathan Green, was selected, spoke to a reporter knowing full well it wasn't allowed, took a contempt of court charge, and happily paid the $450 fine. And when the judge asked him if he was just trying to get out of jury duty, Green responded,
yeah.
That man is a national hero.
He's just totally understand. He's just a fucking guy. He's like, yeah, so I have to go from one shitty city to a shittier city in Orlando. And so that's the reason I have to live in a hotel in La Quinta with a bunch of other jurors. And I don't think this is going to be you guys planting us with a bunch of tequila and giving us a hot tub to fuck with nighttime cams kind of jurors. Like, I know that this is going to be lame. So I'm up and out.
Yeah, and when they asked him about his decision, he just said, no regrets.
None at
Hell
all.
yeah.
None whatsoever. Now, to give you a scope of how popular this trial was, 40 million people watched at least a little bit of it. And because of how interested people were in it, the news media reported on everything they could get their hands on. And
I was just thinking, if I was a juror, you know what I'd do? Bring my own gavel. I feel like that would be kind of fun if you just kind of like gavelled every now and then.
Sir, you're causing chaos with your tiny hammer. I need you to stop it. That is not an official gavel.
Can I object? Am I allowed to object? Anyway.
And because of the sunshine laws we talked about last week, the media got their hands on quite a lot of information. And they reported on every single tiny little bit they got. Here's an example of some local Orlando news coverage.
According to a source who has read dozens of jailhouse notes and letters prosecutors say they believe were written by Casey Anthony, most of them contain, quote, ramblings indicative of someone with a lot of time on her hands. There's also a great deal about food, what to order from the commissary and when to eat. Noticeably missing, the source says, is much about Kaylee, the daughter she is now charged with killing.
Food. What else is she supposed to talk about?
It makes my brain boil. After a while, you're just like, you fucking morons. The more and more you research it, like, because they had 3 years of shit they had to pump out.
Right. And it's just a person incarcerated. So literally after, like, she ate lunch at noon and dinner at 4:30. That's basically it.
That's it.
Well, the local news media they hit on it quite a bit. But the person who hit on the Casey Anthony trial harder than anyone else was our aforementioned friend, Nancy Grace.
They call me Fancy Nancy. I'm the tugboat with the perm.
Really?
Henry,
Wow.
how did you describe Nancy Grace to us?
If Dr. Phil himself was in the plot of the movie Juana Man. It's like she is the end of a Chevy Chase movie where it has led to the female persona. And this is Mrs. Doubtfire 3, where Mrs. Doubtfire 3 has her own news show.
So the judge in the Casey Anthony trial was the Honorable Belvin Perry.
Belvin?
He is sassy as a motherfuck.
We are hearing some strange Zenaida and Belvin. Who would have thought Orlando had the strangest names around?
Hey, there's more to come, man. So Judge Perry actually did a fantastic job with this trial. Pretty much the opposite of Lance Ito. Even though the claims made by the defense were outlandish, as we'll see, things never got out of hand legally, and Belvin kept both lawyers on a tight leash.
Well, to be fair, a late night spoof, The Dancing Belvins, doesn't really have the same ring as The Dancing Itos.
Dancing Belvins actually, for me, is funnier. If I was in a comedy room, I would choose Dancing Belvins. I actually have a very weird tangential story attached to the case. So, a member of Murder Fist broke up with his girlfriend in college at Florida State. They had sort of the unspoken broke up. She went and cheated on him with 2 men in the same night in the same the same night. I mean, I guess technically it's not about the sex, but it's just about one of those dudes. It was two guys in one go. It was a threesome. Oh. One of those guys happens to be Casey Anthony's former co-worker at a TGI Fridays where she worked for like 6 weeks. This is true.
Really?
He was present at the court case. A friend of my old friend of college sent me a message saying, this guy, he was in the court case. He got fined for contempt of court by doing surreptitiously giving the finger to the prosecutor as he was talking, which you're not allowed to do. Judge Belvin then holds him in contempt of court, rails on him for 15 minutes. It's an incredible video of him just standing and being like, "Now tell me, sir, what is the notion and meaning of the hand signal that you gave at court yesterday?" He's like, "It meant fuck you, sir." Say it again. Say it again so that everyone can hear. It meant you wanted me to go sex myself in a court of law. And it's like 15 minutes of it. It's incredible footage.
All right.
But Belvin's incredible.
Belvin's Courthouse has to be a show.
Now, about Casey Anthony, Judge Belvin said he observed the side that was for the jury, that wrongfully accused, put upon grieving mother face, and the side for everyone else. Ooh. It was either stone cold or even somewhat bubbly at times.
Oh.
We've seen her laughing. We've seen her smiling in court.
Oh, absolutely. You can't not laugh at a hot bod contest. We've heard that.
But that was never when the jury was present.
Oh.
Now, Belvin said as soon as the jury left the room, Casey's face changed as if she was just taking off a mask. And Casey's appearance was also, like the Menendez brothers, carefully choreographed. While the Menendez brothers were made to look like two innocent young boys in their pastel sweaters, Casey,
yeah, they were.
Every day was Easter in the Menendez trial.
Casey was made to look as plain as possible, almost like an exasperated single mother dragged into court on a traffic charge she doesn't have time to deal with.
I would also go as far to say in virginal white. Most of her clothes were white. She wore a lot of things. Again, I watched a lot of court footage. And they put a lot of stuff where psychologically you look and see angel. And she just was always just... No. Like you could see her just being like, wrong. Another lie from the prosecution. Like she could see her just shaking her head. Ooh.
They should do like a Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, but like with plaintiffs, and just make them all look like members of the Duggar family or something, which I guess is what they went for.
Well, whatever they did, it worked. Although, when opening statements began on June 6th, 2011, nobody could predict what kind of weird shit Casey's legal team would drag out in the defense of Casey Anthony. Today's sponsor for Last Podcast on the Left is FrameBridge. FrameBridge makes it super easy and affordable to custom frame your favorite things, from art prints and posters to the photos on your phone. Here's how it works. Just go to framebridge.com, upload your photo from your computer or directly from your Instagram feed for them to print. Or if you have a physical item, ticket stubs, art prints, posters, you name it, they'll provide secure prepaid packaging so you can mail it for free. Preview your item online in any frame style. Choose your favorite or get free recommendations from their talented designers. The expert team at FrameBridge will custom frame your item in days, not weeks or months, and they'll deliver your finished piece directly to your door, ready to hang. The best part, instead of the hundreds you'd pay at a framing store, their prices start at $39 and all shipping is free. We've been using FrameBridge at the Last Podcast Network to frame up all of the awesome fan art that we get from you, the listener, and we're very happy with it. It's extremely easy to use. Plus, our listeners will get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when you use the code LEFT. FrameBridge has thousands of 5-star reviews and even offers a happiness guarantee. If for any reason you aren't 100% satisfied with your order, they'll make it right. So get started framing your photos or art today. Go to framebridge.com and use the promo code LEFT, and you'll save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code LEFT. That's framebridge.com, promo code LEFT. The prosecution, Linda Drain Burdick and Jeff Ashton, centered their case around 3 words: child-free life.
Who's also the name of a Glade plug-in scent.
Oh, look at that.
In their opening statements, they hit hard on the image of Casey Anthony as the typical Orlando party girl yearning to break free from the shackles of motherhood.
Where is Kaylee Marie Anthony? Day 1. Where is Kaylee Marie Anthony? She does it for all 31 days.
Yeah.
She hits it again and again and again, but without telling a goddamn story. And we'll get to it.
Now, the murder that the prosecutor tried to pin on Casey went like this. She knocked the little girl out with chloroform that she made herself, taped her mouth and nose with 3 pieces of duct tape to suffocate her, and transported the body in a canvas diaper bag and dumped her daughter in the wooded area near their house. Now, to the prosecution, this whole thing was a slam dunk case. They had pictures of Casey Anthony at That's Dope Fridays at the Hot Body Contest.
Of course.
Fusion Ultra Lounge.
Yes.
They had the duct tape, and they had the sister canvas diaper bag found in Casey's room, as the one used to transport Kaylee was part of a matching set.
All right.
But then, defense attorney Jose Baez fired back.
Okay, I'm going to put this first of all, right? The opening statement for the prosecution is 2 hours long. It is boring. It is long. It is arduous. They try to be very detailed. It makes a lot of sense.
It's a mistake.
Then Baez rolls in, and it's like it becomes the movie Glory with Matthew Broderick. He is an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
He seems to know what he's doing immediately. He paints a picture, and when he fucking drops that club of his information about George Anthony, the whole room goes like, because they've all been hearing all this other shit from. It's like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, for 3 years.
Entertain them.
Well, I think that the whole media coverage, I think it got into the prosecution's head as well, because for 3 years, everybody in America, or damn near everybody in America, is saying that Casey Anthony is guilty.
Right.
Like, so they think like, oh yeah, all we have to do is go out there and trot out all this shit that's already been trotted out, and then everything's going to be fine. But then Jose Baez comes in and, like Henry said, drops a whole bunch of new information on a case that everybody has been waiting for.
That's why you play the game, like Herm Edwards says.
No.
Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards. He was a coach, and his name is Herm Edwards.
What?
That's why you play the game.
Oh, okay.
Talk to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, great. Good.
That's why you play the game.
Oh, that's it. Why do you play the game?
Because even if you're an underdog, you can still win.
And the Philadelphia Eagles are filled with criminals, so it's like the same. It
They're
comes back to
fans.
court.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Well, Jose Baez did not deny that Casey had knowledge of her daughter's death, despite Casey saying right up until the trial that it was Zanny the nanny who was responsible. Though Baez opened with a whole new story. His argument was that the death of Kaylee Anthony had been nothing more than a tragic accident involving the Anthony family above-ground pool.
Oh, no.
According to the defense, someone had left the ladder down. Kaylee wandered outside, fell into the pool, and drowned, all while Casey was asleep. George found the body and woke up Casey, saying, "Look what you've done. Your mother will never forgive you," and so on and so forth. And that's when George figured he'd better cover it up to protect his daughter. First, he went to the kitchen and got a couple of garbage bags, and he then took Kaylee's body, placed it inside the bag, and sealed it with duct tape, just like he'd always done when family pets died.
And that was George's first mistake. He should have used the patented Ziploc Ultralock for sale here on the Nancy Grace Show.
And that's not me being cute with the whole pet thing. That was the attorney's argument exactly.